All right, let's talk about Ripple. Today we're taking a really deep dive into their strategy, some of the bold moves happening behind the scenes, and what it all actually means for the future of XRP. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's just get right into it.
It all kicks off with this. Just 4 simple words from Ripple CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. But man, this is a powerful and definitive statement. It's a statement that's already sent waves through the industry. And in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly what it is.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with that confident declaration. Then we'll look at the seriously deep technical foundation that's being built. After that, we'll follow the money as the big institutions arrive, check out the crucial roadmap for regulation, and finally, take a look at what happens next.
So let's really start by digging into that powerful statement from CEO Brad Garlinghouse. You got to understand, this wasn't just some off-the-cuff remark. Nope, this was a carefully chosen message, and it was delivered at a really pivotal moment.
The context here is just everything. This was said at Ripple Swell 25 in New York, in a room jam-packed with the exact people Ripple needs on board. We're talking banks, fintech leaders, you name it. The message was crystal clear. The time for just experimenting is over. Ripple is ready to deploy and scale real-world solutions, and that's a massive rallying signal for the whole industry. Now, that high-level confidence is one thing, but it's backed up by some serious work on the ground floor. And this is where the CTO, David Schwartz, comes in, laying out a very deliberate 2-part approach to growth.
And here it is, the whole strategy in his own words. See, it's not about choosing between the big institutions and everyday users. It's a sequence. You build the robust, heavy-duty infrastructure that the big financial players demand first. Then, that solid foundation becomes the launchpad for a huge wave of apps for the rest of us.
And this just lays it out perfectly. Step 1 is all about building for the big guys, for the institutions. Their participation strengthens the whole network, it deepens liquidity, and it standardizes the system. It's only then, in Step 2, that developers can really leverage that mature, battle-tested infrastructure to build amazing, seamless experiences for you and me.
So, the crucial point here is that this isn't just some business plan on a whiteboard. No, this is a deep engineering effort. In fact, Ripple is thinking about one of the most significant upgrades in the entire history of the XRP ledger. Okay, so this slide gets to the core of that engineering effort. The team is actually talking about a fundamental rewrite of the ledger itself. They're looking to move from the current design, where everything is kind of woven together, to a modular one. This just means they can separate the components and upgrade them independently, which is huge. They're even thinking about switching from C++ to Rust, a language that's famous for memory safety and performance. This is all about future-proofing the network for massive scale and security, all without touching a single user balance. So, while the engineers are busy re-architecting the future, the market is already showing some really clear signs that this institution's first strategy is paying off. The wave isn't coming, it's actually already here.
I mean, the numbers just don't lie. Since they launched on November 13th, spot XRP ETFs, and these are funds that let big investors buy shares that are backed by actual XRP, have seen over $1.18 billion in net inflows. That means over $1 billion more has come in than has gone out. It's a massive vote of confidence from some of the biggest names in finance.
And this brings us to the question that's on pretty much everyone's mind. With all this institutional cash pouring in, why isn't the price of XRP just going to the moon? Well, the answer shows a really fundamental difference between how institutions invest and how retail traders often play the game.
The whole story is right here in this divergence. We've seen this incredible streak, 30 straight days of net positive inflows, and yet the price has been kind of stuck, just trading sideways. This is a huge clue. It strongly suggests that institutions like Bitwise and Franklin Templeton, they aren't here for a quick flip. They are patiently accumulating, building long-term structural positions. They're not betting on tomorrow's price. They're investing in the utility of the entire ecosystem years down the road.
So, we've got the technology getting a massive upgrade, and the big institutions are clearly on board. But there's one more critical piece of the puzzle that needs to fall into place, especially right here in the United States, and that's regulatory clarity.
And Brad Garlinghouse has actually put a date on it. He's projecting that the first half of 2026 is going to be a transformative period, a time where the US finally establishes some real, significant regulatory clarity for crypto. He doesn't just see this as about compliance, he sees it as the ultimate catalyst.
He lays out this really clear chain reaction, what you could almost call the ripple effect. First, you get regulation. Clear rules of the road give institutions the confidence they need to adopt the technology at a massive scale. And that utility-driven scale forces the market to reevaluate the asset based on what it actually does in the real world, not just on speculation.
Okay, so we've covered the vision, the tech, the money, and the regulations. Let's pull all of it together and look at the key things you need to watch as this multi-year strategy plays out.
This table is basically your cheat sheet for the future. Want to know if the leadership's vision is on track? Watch for the actual rollout of the products they announced at Swell. To see how the tech is coming along, keep an eye out for updates on that huge modular rewrite. For institutional conviction, that key number is still the net inflows into the ETFs. And finally, that regulatory catalyst, it all hinges on any real legislative progress in the US.
And that really leaves us with the central question, doesn't it? The technology is being rebuilt for the future. The institutional bridges are being fortified with billions of dollars. All the pieces of the puzzle seem to be moving into place. The big question now is whether regulatory clarity will be that final decisive catalyst that unlocks this whole next chapter.